What's up, you bastards? Welcome back. Today, we finally want to start throwing parts at this thing. But before we do that, yesterday we were standing in a super dark shop. I didn't get a chance to show you guys this. But here is the motor. This is the crate engine he picked up for the Camaro. It looks like he's already starting to put his flex plate on and whatnot. Already started without me. It's a bit late in the day. I think it's like 2:30 already. I got a little late start on this one, but we're here. We're ready to start. I'm gonna drive my Super around a little bit. We advanced on the tune a little bit, so we got a little farther on it. I just want to see how it's running. I was not here when they did that, so I want to check that out. Tanner, the owner of this beautiful Camaro, is on the way to the parts store right now to pick some stuff up. I'm not 100% sure what they're going to get because I literally, like, as I was pulling in, they were pulling out. So I got a little bit of time to mess around with my car before they get back. But when they do, we'll just jump right into things. And we're back from the parts store. What did we end up having to go there to get?
Flex plate bolts. So the ARP ones that we had, these guys here, the head of them was too wide, so you couldn't actually get a socket to fit on this without hitting the crank. Something about a one-piece main versus a two-piece. I think these are for two-piece. That should be a one-piece.
Oh, sure.
So we got the right bolts on now.
So now we got the correct ones in here. Flex plates bolted on. We pretty much have everything on the engine that we want to have on here before installing it. Everything else should be pretty easily accessible once the engine's in the car. But I forget we didn't have a chance to like actually show this yesterday because it was so dark in the shop.
That is true.
But we have a Blueprint 350. Wow. You want to give the story?
Well, I mean, you know, it's just a 350 and, you know, a little cam in it and some heads and maybe stroked a little bit and yeah, stroked 350, 377 cubic inches mathematically. If it was bored out, then it would be a 383, but it's standard square bore or
nice.
Standard 350 bore, so.
Fun, so to make good torque with good power. You guys saw the dyno sheets yesterday. I'm excited to see it run because they even advertised this at lower than that, didn't they? Like,
yeah, they advertised it for 432 horse and it made 462.
Nice. Blueprint, good stuff. But now we just want to make sure we have everything prepped here. We moved the wiring harness out of the way. I got it, you know, power steering pump moved out of the way. These lines moved out of the way. So we should have plenty of room now to like drop the engine in. We're not going to bolt the engine mounts in quite yet, you were saying?
Yeah, we want to get the header slid in first before we get the mounts finalized.
Perfect. So let's get to dangling this engine real quick and we'll see where we get to. That was satisfying.
That was the slickest drop that I've ever done.
Yeah, we just straight
Fourth time's a charm, huh?
dropped it onto the mounts and it fell right into place. Gotta love this small block. That was much easier than the 7M. And that, I mean, that's even pretty easy, and this being easier is impressive to say the least.
Honestly, I think we just dropped the transmission, and the transmission's probably gonna go right into place.
Nice.
See that?
Yeah, that felt really good.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
See that? I was just trying to make sure the torque converter actually made its way into the crank.
Sure, yeah. No, I mean, it definitely looks right at home. I mean, it looks lined up. Wow.
All right, well.
That was mind-bogglingly smooth.
I don't
Cool.
think we're out of the woods yet. That was too easy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally just sitting here jinxing this entire process. I need to shut the hell up.
So I suppose next steps then, after we got it in, it's on the mounts here. Next step is to get the transmission mated up and together. Looks like our dowel pins are lined up from the engine to the transmission, so we just gotta lower our transmission a little bit to get the bell housing bolts to line up. Once bell housing bolts are lined up, throw a couple bolts in to get everything fully mated, and then that's a check mark.
Yeah, then our drivetrain's secure. We just need to make sure that everything's bolted together. And then what? It's headers, then starter.
Yep, correct. So it's headers. You get the headers wiggled in first. Sometimes you gotta lift the engine up a little bit, so we're not putting in our clamshell bolts down here yet. Just so that if we do need to move the engine to get the headers in, we can put a bolt in on that side and then lift it up, and it's gonna rotate the whole thing open.
Sure.
And then you can slide your headers in easier that way. Once the headers are in, we'll do a bolt in the front, bolt in the back, just not even tight, just so that they're in and they get held up. And then at that point, you can throw the starter in on that side, throw your spark plugs back in, and get stuff wired up that way.
No, it's weird. It's almost like you're working backwards once the engine is in.
Yeah, it's like tightening the headers is like the last thing that you do, just because it's like that's your clearance.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, cool. We have direction, so we know where we're going. We're gonna try to get the bell housing bolts in real quick, and then we'll come right back. First attempt. We literally dropped the trans down, and it fell right into place.
We didn't lift the engine a single time. We lifted the engine to get over the fender, and then dropped it in, and it just went. And then we just lowered the transmission, and it went clunk, and then together as it came down.
Oh, that's insane. That was incredibly satisfying to watch from down there. Cool. Well, we are like miles ahead of where we thought we'd be already, so
time to throw bolts in.
Time to start throwing bolts at this thing. All right, little progress update for you guys. Things are going way smoother than I thought they were.
You keep saying that.
Yeah, right after I said that, I thought about it. I need to not keep repeating myself, but bell housing bolts are started. I think we have all of them in there, or we still have one to go.
I think one to go.
Yeah, we still have one bell housing bolt to go here, but the rest of them are in hand tight. And we're gonna do some flex plate bolts that should secure our motor and trans together, get those torqued and tightened down to spec.
Torque converter bolts.
Yeah, torque converter to flex plate bolts after we get the bell housing done.
Yeah, that is in finger tight.
Ass.
Damn it, dude. Feels good.
All right, we've made really good progress. All these bell housing bolts are in. We're working on getting the rest of the flex plate bolts in. They're pretty much all in. I think we've got one left. And then once this is in, you can move his way on to headers.
Yep, headers. We also got to look at the fuel pump here as well. That was a new discovery. Get a good shot at that.
Yeah, we're kind of having a little bit of interference with this arm here. There's an outlet, or excuse me, an inlet that goes into the mechanical pump here that looks like it's being blocked. So we're gonna either have to come up with a solution. We don't know if we can clock.
Yeah, I don't know if it's possible to just take that bottom part of the pump off, rotate it one segment, and then bolt it right back up. Maybe that's the play. That'll give us more room to work with anyway, but worst comes to worst, I think we can also nick some metal in here. And
yeah, we'll figure it out. I'd rather not mess with any structure, but I'm sure we can clock it. I can't imagine. It's probably just a diaphragm in there with a seal, so
we'll find out.
My guess is we're fine there, but really good progress. I mean, shoot, the engine's in the car.
There's an engine in the car.
There's
First
an
time
engine.
in 5 years or so.
Yeah, and it's clean. It's exciting to see a blueprint engine in the shop. But I have to go. It is Gina's birthday today, so we are going to go celebrate that. Tanner is going to continue to work on this thing. He's got a camera of his own. If there's some audio quality changes, I apologize for that, but I will at least see you guys tomorrow, and we'll see where we end up getting on this Camaro.
All right, little update here. Let's see. Last time we left, the car was in the air, and we were working on flex plate bolts and torque converter bolts. Or sorry, not flex plate bolts, those are done. Torque converter to the flex plate bolts. Bell housing bolts, those are all done now from the bottom. Right now we just have 2 bell housing bolts on the top to get. Not that bad. One back, I guess you can't see it. One back there and one right on top of here. Jeez, I wish the GoPros had better lighting on that. Like it's literally right there, whatever. So yeah, 2 top bell housing bolts to do. Take the bag off so you can get a good shot. Beautiful engine. Look at that. We also adjusted the fuel pump down here. I'm sure I got a video of that, but I can show it next time if I think of it when the car's in the air. Basically, we just had to, let's see if I can get the display from the bottom of it here. I don't know if you can even see anything. Basically, from the bottom of the fuel pump, you can undo the screws that are held on right here and here, go all the way around. You can undo all those screws and then rotate just the bottom piece of it so you can get a better fitting angle. So we also learned this is an NPT fitting, not AN like we had originally thought, so I need to go and get some NPT fittings. NTP, I think. So we're going to do a 90-degree elbow out of the fuel pump and then a barbed wire going into the 90, and then we'll be able to connect our fuel line after we cut this down a little bit. Fuel line right on top. Should be pretty nice. And I think the return is somewhere on the carburetor. Haven't looked. We'll figure that out later. So goals right now are to do top 2 bell housing bolts and then slide the long tube headers in. I don't think I've shown those yet. Let's see where those are. Over here. These are it. These are uncoated, just painted Hedman long tube headers for the 3rd Gen Camaro. I don't know, they seem pretty nice. Did a quick mock fitment before and they seem like they're gonna work, so time will tell. So I'm gonna get these slid in and then hopefully have an update after that. Alright, we're back. It's late at night. We're probably done for the night. We got bell housing bolts in the back. Those were easy peasy. Headers were not easy peasy. So the long tubes, we had great success going in from the bottom, but we're also on a nice lift. If you're not on a nice lift, you're gonna have to pop the valve covers off and go in from the top, or try to jack it up high enough where you can squeeze these underneath. But we did have good luck going in from underneath. One major thing we had to do though is really bore out almost every one of these bolt holes for the header bolts. Basically it was constricting too much and we needed to widen them out so that they would eventually fit flat. We'd get to a point where we'd get 4 out of the 6 bolts in, and then 2 of them would be tough to get in. They wouldn't thread in because they were trying to go in at an angle. So had to take our handy dandy drill and widen those out, and after enough massaging we got them in. So that side's in fine there, and passenger side is all fitted up nicely here. So what we'll do now is probably pull all but the back and the very front bolts out, pull all those out to get all these accessories in, and then when everything is said and done, we'll put all the bolts in and tighten them as is. So that's where we are going to end it for tonight. Be back tomorrow.